And an important note, when you're coming near the nose, be very careful. Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's that retired guy who's lived through the 60s twice and is still having fun. Now when I retired a couple of years ago, a lot of things stayed the same and some things changed. Now one thing that did change was I started using an electric razor. That wasn't something that was normal. I'd been a blade guy my entire life, but I've been wondering why I never thought of it before. And another thing I'm wondering about, have you guys thought of it before? Now when I was younger, I remember an interview with Paul McCartney saying that one of the things he hated the most was having to shave every day. I thought he was just backwards on this. I wasn't to shaving age yet, and I thought it would be so cool to be able to pick if you want to shave, pick not if you want to shave. I soon learned. Paul, you knew whereof you spoke. Anyway, I started shaving during high school. I had a mustache after I graduated, and I kept that till about 1986 when I finally got tired of tasting my soup 3 hours later. I did also experiment with a beard early on, but it had streaks of red in it, thanks Dad, and it ended up really looking something like this guy's. Exit the chin whiskers. I also had a beard during COVID, as a lot of guys did, but I couldn't decide whether it looked like Gorton's Fisherman, the New York Islanders mascot, or Ernest Hemingway. It didn't last long either. So basically I've been shaving my whole life, and most often with a blade. There have been some electrics in the relationship, but they didn't last long. But recently I've come over to the spark side. Is that something that's for you? Let's talk about blade versus electric. Now I started out with a safety razor and razor blades. But in 1971, Gillette came out with the Track 2, and shaving was never the same again. Their competitors did the same right away. You were saying to yourself, boy, it's got 2 blades, it must be twice as good. Saturday Night Live was quick to jump on the bandwagon with the triple track. And remember, this is a time when we didn't know if SNL commercials were real or imagined. So I remember one guy saying, wait a minute, did they just call us stupid? Is that supposed to make us buy this? It was a simpler time. Other ideas came out as well. More is better, right? But I think 5 has turned out to be just about as much as we'll swallow. I never hopped on that more is better train anyway. In 1994, Gillette came out with the Sensor XL. It had little microfins that pulled your skin as all those other blades supposedly did. And it had the cartridge that kind of rotated with your face to give you a little extra comfort. So did it work and did I like it? Well, here's my 1994 model still going strong. One for travel and one for home. And they still keep making the blades, and as long as they do, I'm set. But with me now using electric most of the time, I reckon I have enough blades there to last me all the way to the end. Or until maybe I grow a beard like Paul here? Maybe not. Okay, well, at least until everybody stops me from playing with sharp objects anymore. So let's do a quick blade shave. All you need is your razor and your shaving cream. Now, I did try gels like Edge, but I've never found anything better for me than good old foamy. So rinse and prepare your face with warm water. Now, I heard when I was a kid using the coolest water possible would be better because the skin wouldn't expand around the whiskers and you'd be able to get a closer shave. That's been debunked, but in any case, I'm not going to use cold water for shaving on my face. Whether it's swimming, shaving, whatever, cold water, especially in the morning, forget it. As my old boss in Germany would say, I'm such a vimp. Once your skin is moistened, you're ready to go. Get your shaving cream. Now, I start over here and then move into my most sensitive area around the nose and mouth, because that's where I want the cream to be for the longest time. But then I go everywhere else. I go above the cheek line here and down to make sure I get every area I want to shave. And we're ready to go. Now I start by going down the sideburn and making a good cut below the sideburn, keeping it straight. Otherwise they'll grow out and get Elvis in no time. Then I come over and start on the cheek, and I'll get to the other side in just a second. Now I'll come and I'll do the bottom up to the neckline. I want to get down as far as possible to keep that hair from showing above a shirt. So as you're going, don't press hard. You won't get a closer shave that way. You'll only irritate and maybe cut your skin. And remember, don't blow your cheeks out like this. You may think you're getting a better shave, but think about it. Over time, it's going to stretch out your skin. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, but over the period of years, you could end up with jowls like this guy. Don't risk it. Now I do shave against the grain when I can. We all know that when your skin feels a certain way up and down, shaving up against the grain does get you a closer shave. A little hint to remember. Eventually I get to the point where I'm at my most sensitive area, around the nose and mouth, especially right down here. Now I have this Indiana Jones scar right near my labiomental groove. I had to look that up. Now his was bigger, but you'd expect that since he got it from a whip. Mine I got from my buddy's '65 Chevy. We weren't going that fast when we slid into that car in front of us, but that dashboard juts out like a knife, doesn't it? Anyway, I had to be careful of the scar when shaving, and I'd cut it many, many times back then. Over the years, it's toned down and shrunk. Like too many things, alas. So that being said, I start at the nose and come down. And then around the mouth. I'll finish this up, again, making those strokes up and towards the mouth. Don't start at the lip and pull down or at the lip and pull up. You'll nick the lip. It's a very sensitive area. And you notice my little indie scar, I'm able to shave over it completely right now. Let me finish up. Oh, don't forget to open your mouth and do those little areas right next to the mouth. Otherwise, you'll start to get hairs growing out of there as well. Just a hint. So now that I'm done, you can see the number one reason that I've gone electric for most of the time. Shaving cream glop. Here by the ear, down here at the bottom. I can use the electric anywhere. Well, not at the kitchen table if you ask my wife, but that'll be our little secret. But I have to clean this up, whereas I could use the electric and go about my day. So once you clean off that glop, smooth as a baby's bottom. You can't get that kind of shave with an electric. But I don't need this kind of shave every day. But if I'm going out with friends, going to your daughter's wedding, or maybe just somewhere where I need to dress to impress, I'll use a blade every time. And there's one more important benefit to shaving cream.
I'm gonna get cream.
Let Noxzema clean your face. So the face girl won't. Woo!
So I tried the electric again a couple of years ago, and I never looked back. And for most people, the gold standard of electric shavers is Braun, or as it's pronounced in its home Germany, Braun. By the way, I never did consider a rotary shaver. I didn't think the rotary heads would be as precise as a straight-edged electric. And besides, who wants to put something on your face that's had Santa's butt on it?
Christmas is a time for closeness, and closeness is what Norelco razors are all about.
Ooh. I used the Braun Series 9 Pro Plus. I got it for about $160 at Costco with all the incentives applied. Let's take a look at it. An unboxing, if you will. So when you get the Braun Series 9 Pro Plus, you get it in this authentic and very snappy box. Honest. Anyway, let's see what you get. A case for it. It's got a zipper and it's very sturdy. Good to travel with. That's a nice case. Oh my goodness. They gave you a snack. I'll save that for later. They give you a cleaning brush. And can you afford it, Braun? Seriously? My advice, go online and buy, for a few bucks, a decent long cleaning brush, just easier to use. You've got a charging cord, of course. There is a cleaning unit with it. And you wouldn't have thought that this cleaning unit could fit in this box, but we've all seen that before, right?
Thing of beauty is a joy forever.
And finally, the unit itself. There's many things to it, but the long and the short of it is the cutting blades are removable and all encased in here. Very convenient, very useful, and replaceable. There's a couple of owner's manuals in there, and that's it. But really, this is all you need. One thing about the charging cord, it can plug into the bottom of the unit or into the cleaning unit. And we'll show the cleaning unit after we shave. So before you start, there's one decision to make. This little switch. What that does, it locks the head in place. If you find a way that fits your hand and fits the way you shave, leave it there. Right now, I'm unlocking it, and that way it moves with the contour of your face. Your choice. So I start out at the sideburns. I go up and down, but also side to side. That will not get you as clean a cut as a blade. You should clean up with your blade every once in a while, but if you leave them go, pretty soon you'll look like this guy. Now much of this is like the blade. You go against the grain. When you feel that way, you just feel with your hand as you go. Now, one thing you can do is go up and down from the mouth, especially around the lips, because that way you get a good clean shave there. And like the blade, don't forget, open your mouth, catch that little area in there. We do forget about that. And you continue on. When you're doing the neck, you just go back and forth, up and down, throughout. You feel it? And if you want to get a little bit closer, keep going like that. Remember, don't press too hard. It only will irritate your skin and doesn't get that much closer anyway. And an important note, when you're coming near the nose, be very careful. For going around the chin, again, the top of the shaver will follow your chin around unless you've locked it in. Either way, it works out great for you. I'll finish up. You guys don't have to watch the rest of it. Pretty smooth. Not bad at all. It's not as close as a blade, but most days I don't need it that close. I just need it to be nice enough. For every day, this is great. So cleanup is quick. First, you take the blade housing off. Lifts up as I mentioned, put that aside. Take your long brush that we talked about before and simply brush the whiskers off into the sink. That's over in a few seconds. Then you take the blade housing and you tap it. Tap, tap, tap. You don't smash it, just a few quick taps. And then you brush the whiskers off the bottom. Don't brush the top foil part. That'll just make it dull and you're not getting anything out of it. And don't put it into this middle part either where the mechanism is. You just brush on the sides, give it another tap or two, so on and so forth. That's it. And then you put it back on. Now here's the trick. You'll probably have one side or the other, the top or the bottom, that you favor when you're shaving. Mine's the bottom. That's just how my hand bends and how I hold it. So every time I go to put it back on, I turn it over. That way, every time I shave, I'm using a different one of the heads instead of the same one again and again. That'll make it last longer and you won't have to replace it as quickly. The final step in this process, wash everything down right away. If you don't, it could build up, get caught up with toothpaste glop or whatever else, and you know what you'll get.
Hairball.
Hairballs. and nobody wants that. The final step in the process is the cleaning unit itself. If you press this and open it, you'll see that it's got a little cartridge of cleaning fluid in here. That goes back in, and you close it down, and you place the shaver, and you heard that little beep there. All you do is press this button, and it'll start to wash the inside of the unit just like that. Now, Braun makes a big thing about being able to withstand a lot of liquid and to use it in the shower. I'm not a big fan of using my electric razor in the shower.
Shocking.
But it's built to withstand that, and certainly built for the cleaning fluid to do this. They say to do this every day. A lot of other people say 1 to 2 days. Well, me, I brush the whiskers out, as you saw, after every use. So I figure doing this once a week on a Sunday is enough for that. But it's certainly up to you. When you're done, it's all charged up again, and the blades are clean. So, blade versus electric, what's the verdict? Well, for me, I find that the convenience and the lack of mess of the electric outweighs the closeness of the blade shave, which I don't need all that often. There is the initial cash outlay, but you'll have to weigh that against the convenience factor over the long term. For me, I'm a believer in electric from now on. So that's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, or learned something, or maybe made a decision one way or the other, give me a like. I'd sure appreciate it. And make sure you share it with someone that you think might enjoy it, or someone who may need it. Just don't mention to them you think they look scraggly. And don't forget to subscribe for all of the nutty content I'll have going forward. You don't want to miss a thing. This is that retired guy who's lived through the 60s twice and is obviously still having fun. So long, everybody.